Next on Eyewitness News Live at 5, the big chill begins to set in, and we could be in for the coldest spell in years.
Not much snow fell this morning, but boy, did it mess up the morning rush hour. One major bridge had to be closed.
A music machine that has delighted generations in Minneapolis is put into cold storage.
In St. Paul, it wasn't like something out of the movies. It really is something out of the movies as a thrilling exhibit opens downtown.
Coming up on the health scene, some tips to help you protect your unborn child and a potential danger if you've got a humidifier in your home.
I'm Steve Hartman, and hey, there may be money in them there hills. I'll explain in just a bit.
The search continues. Stay tuned. Eyewitness News Live at 5 is next.
Same old thing with the same old bunch. The same bunch. So what's it gonna be for lunch?
Make it a burrito any way you want it. At Taco Bell, there are 4 ways to get your fill. From our bean burrito to the double beef burrito supreme, you can have a lunch that leaves you empty or burritos that fill you up. So what's it gonna be?
Hello, hello, Taco Bell.
My Uncle Chester used to say, boy, you never cook with hickory if mesquite is within driving distance. And you know, he had a point. Mesquite gives meat the most delightful flavor, and that's what we use in Jimmy Dean's mesquite smoked sausage. Good meat, the best spices, slow smoked with mesquite. It's a taste you'd drive halfway across Texas to get, but heck, all you've got to do is drive to your store. Jimmy Dean mesquite smoked sausage.
Sooner or later, keeping the old car running just isn't worth it. Not when Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge dealers are offering up to $1,000 cash back on select imports and savings of hundreds more on specially equipped models. On Colt hatchbacks, Vista wagons, Ram 50 pickups, and Conquest TSIs. So instead of this, see your Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge dealers before these great import deals expire.
You're watching KSTP TV, Minnesota's News Channel 5. Live from Minnesota's News Channel, KSTP Channel 5. Mark Sapelsa, Angela Astor, Dave Dahl, and Mark Curtis bring you Eyewitness News, live at 5.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, it was not a good morning to be in a hurry.
It took me like twice as long. Frustrating, let me tell you. The snow we got, a paltry ½ inch, made the roads deceptively slick in spite of the best efforts to keep the sanding trucks out there.
Now take a look. This is 35W southbound, creeping along, but moving at least. The Lafayette Bridge was blocked off altogether for a while this morning thanks to a jackknife semi and gawkers who got tangled up in 3 other accidents. None of the accidents was serious, but the delays for commuters were significant. The bridge wasn't fully cleared until noon.
Pedestrian traffic, however, now that was moving along at quite a clip today. Let me tell you, it was definitely an ear flaps down, collar up kind of day. We did reach 5 above, but are heading down there from there. Let me tell you, this could be the last time we see 0, and I mean we're looking up from there sometime until Saturday afternoon.
Now, Mark, there are some ugly rumors that tonight could be the coldest we've had in 3 years. So let's check in with Dave Dahl. How cold will it be, Dave?
How cold is it? Well, it is going to get cold. Probably the actual temperature of about 15 to 22 below, but when you add the wind in, it is going to be dangerously cold across all of North Dakota, all of Minnesota, and a large section of eastern South Dakota and northern Iowa as well. They do have wind chill advisories out for that reason. 50 to 75 below wind chills. That's what it'll feel like on exposed flesh. Flesh can freeze very quickly in those kind of conditions. 40 to 65 below right down here in the metro, in most of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. We do have those very chilly wind chill temperatures that are going to be with us at least through the early part of the day on Saturday. Then it starts to warm up. But I bet you want to know where the best warm escape is. And you don't need a weatherman to tell you that it's cold. You don't need a weatherman to tell you where it's warm. So we're going to go down to our News Star Network affiliate, WTJ, or TVJ TV, and talk with Don Mariuto. And Don, try your hardest. Try to make us feel a little bit better up here.
Well, as cold as it is for you guys, it is very, very warm here. Today, here in Boca Raton, just north of Fort Lauderdale, they played the first women's golf tournament of the year, the first round of it. Temperatures in the 80s. It was very hot walking around the course. You have to take off this jacket. And very, very warm for me being a Miami native. I've never seen snowfall before, so it's hard for me to feel for you guys up there in Minnesota because below zero temperatures are something that's completely foreign to me, but it's very warm here. However, they say there's a bit of a cold front coming through. Maybe Saturday or Sunday it'll get down into the low 60s, upper 50s.
Oh, that's painful. You know, you're about 75 degrees warmer than we are right now. And tell me, did you have to turn on your air conditioner today?
This morning I had my air conditioner on. When I went to bed last night, I turned it on. It was a little warm in the apartment. Would have been just a little uncomfortable if I had opened up the windows, but
oh, that's that's too bad. You know, we can send you a whole plane full of cold air if you'll just send us a couple of tickets to get down where you are.
Last week I was in Washington visiting Washington for the first time, and there was actually snow on the ground, and that's a unique experience. You get off the plane, it's 25 degrees, and you're cold. And I'm not looking forward to the day I experience those 50 to below, 60 below temperatures you just talked about.
Well, thank you for being with us, Don. I appreciate that very much. We do have a lot of cold air to look forward to, and I've got a cold forecast coming up, and I'll have that for you in just a couple of minutes.
I have no thanks to Don whatsoever. These producers do this to us every time. Rub our faces in the sand whenever we're below 40 below, let me tell you.
It looked good.
You have to buy a couple of tickets. We're going to take you back now 4 years when the weather was the big story on this day. On the 4th of February, 1984, a deceptive blizzard with very little snow swept out of Canada through the southwest regions of Minnesota. Drifting snow from the strong winds caused such severe conditions it left hundreds of travelers stranded and 16 people dead.
Neighbors tried but could not rescue an elderly man in South Minneapolis. His home was burning this morning. 86-year-old Morris Delplane was killed in that blaze that did heavy damage to his house. Firefighters sprayed down smoldering debris from the fire after the blaze was brought under control. Neighbors who tried to break into the house through windows to rescue Delplane said they were forced back by smoke and flames. Arson investigators say the fire is not considered suspicious, but they do not have a cause yet.
The 61-year-old Minneapolis Auditorium is being emptied out in preparation for its demolition. The old building will be demolished in early March to make way for a new convention center. Part of the new building will be completed by spring of next year. Now, one of the largest pieces of equipment to be cleared out is the old Kimball pipe organ. Carolyn Brookter looks at the massive job of moving it out.
What you're looking at is some of the 10,000 pipes that make up the Kimball organ at the Minneapolis Auditorium. The historic organ is being moved out, though, piece by piece. Stephen Leslie is supervising the move. He is also an organist himself.
There were only 3 built by this company this size, and 2 of them are left.
It's a massive job to move out the 60-year-old organ, one that they've been working on for a month now. These are the largest pipes and the most difficult to move. They weigh between 1,200 and 1,500 pounds. Their size also helps to produce spectacular sounds.
The low C of that one pipe would be the equivalent of 10 bass violins 20 feet tall, all playing the same note at the same time.
Pipe organs had their heyday during the 1930s when thousands of people would flock to concert halls to hear the music. Jinx Ring works with the Convention Center project. She says the city has already set aside $250,000 to preserve the organ. $700,000 more is needed.
The hope is that it will be put back in the new convention center in 1990 and 1991 when it's scheduled to open.
The last of the pipes will be moved out by the first week in March. Carolyn Brookter for Live at 5.
City officials have also set aside money to preserve other parts of the auditorium. A 20-ton limestone seal that now adorns the auditorium building will also be preserved. The dilemma, though, is where to put it. It doesn't fit the design of the new convention center, and it's too big to use on a proposed plaza area. Luckily, city planners have 2 to 3 years to find a good location.
Put it in your garage. It's big enough, next to those 3 Mercedes. Okay. Just teasing. Thunderous crash wakes an Omaha neighborhood this morning. Collision that left many commuters injured. Details next on Live at 5. Also ahead in the health scene, a common household appliance that causes common health problems.
And an uncommon sight in St. Paul. It's right out of the movies.
For years, people have used white coffee filters by the thousands without giving them a second thought. But now there's a good reason to think twice. Introducing new natural brew coffee filters. One big difference is color. But an even bigger difference is what you can't see. White filters are bleached white with chemicals. Natural brew filters aren't. So, if you enjoy good coffee, Which one makes more sense to you?
All Wicks Furniture stores join in celebrating our 4 new stores in Dallas-Fort Worth with store-wide savings as big as Texas. Save 10 to 50% with no payments or finance charges for 90 days when you use or open a Wicks charge. And register for our drawing for $50,000 worth of furniture and accessories to be given away during this grandest grand opening event. Come celebrate and save Texas style.
Wicks, surprisingly Wicks.
There's a thought that says it is indeed fortunate to have one's cup runneth over. Fortunate, unless your cup runneth over onto your silk blouse, your fine linen tablecloth, your wool slacks, whatever, wherever, which is precisely why we make Scotchgard Fabric Protector. It keeps ordinary spills from becoming extraordinary stains on virtually any fabric. Use Scotchgard Fabric Protector and let your cup runneth over.
Scotchgard Leather Protector, too.
This has not been a good couple of weeks for Amtrak and many of its passengers. This morning, 14 people were injured when an Amtrak train collided with a freight train in Omaha. 250 people were aboard the Amtrak train as it headed out of station. 15 minutes later, the freight train appeared on the same tracks. The passenger train didn't stop. Investigators say the freight train hadn't been cleared to be on the main line. All of the injured were treated for minor cuts and bruises, thankfully. Last week, an Amtrak train carrying 160 people slammed into a work vehicle outside Philadelphia.
The president himself wasn't talking, but a spokesman describes him as deeply disappointed by last night's narrow defeat of a $36 million aid package for the Contra rebels. Leaving the National Prayer Breakfast this morning, the president was asked what he intended to do now for the Contras. His answer, help them. The president's official statement came later from spokesman Marlon Fitzwater.
Our commitment to peace and democracy in Central America is undiminished. The president assures those struggling inside Nicaragua for those values we hold so dear of his personal support.
The president did warn Managua not to interpret the vote as permission to backslide on its promise to move toward democracy. Another conservative disappointed in last night's vote, Pat Robertson. The Republican presidential candidate was campaigning last night in Duluth when he heard about the vote.
I say it's a tragedy that the American Congress, the Democratic leadership, won't stand for freedom. It's a tragic mistake, and if they don't open their eyes, one day we will probably be involved in there ourselves instead of through surrogates, and it's a terrible, terrible tragedy.
Robertson says conservatives will have to find another way to help the Contras, but avoid anything like the Iran-Contra debacle.
A key player in that scandal is making headlines again. The New York Times and the Washington Post report Oliver North made plans with Panamanian strongman Manuel Noriega to train the Contras and embarrass the Nicaraguan government. Sources say Noriega was charged today with drug trafficking. He's accused of protecting drug shipments from Colombia to Miami in return for expensive bribes.
Tiny Ashley Lynn Cunningham continues to hold her own and defy the odds. Ashley is 8 days old today. She was born 17 weeks early, weighing only 15.5 ounces at birth. She came through surgery earlier in the week and remains in critical but stable condition at Minneapolis Children's Medical Center. Some of Ashley's mother's co-workers have set up a fund to help the family with medical expenses. The fund is set up at the New Hope State Bank at 4301 Winnetka Avenue in New Hope. Anyone wanting to contribute to the fund can contact the bank for more information.
Dr. Michael Breen, who first reported that story earlier this week, here with the health scene.
And we have another story today, Mark Angela, about prematurity. In this case, a very common infection doesn't have to occur in any pregnant mother, often causes prematurity. Because leading the health scene, if you're pregnant, this week's New England Journal of Medicine has some tips on how to avoid a common infection that can damage your unborn child. That infection is a parasite called toxoplasmosis. Now, that infection is a major cause of prematurity, and it causes birth defects in about 1 in every 1,000 babies. The reason that parasite's so dangerous is that if you're pregnant, you won't even know you have the infection. It has no symptoms. Here, though, is some simple advice so you won't get that infection in the first place. Many women get the infection from their cats, so don't clean any litter boxes if you're pregnant. Since the parasite's also in raw meat, cook any meat thoroughly. And finally, if you're pregnant in your garden, wear gloves. That's because the parasite's often found in the soil. And in a few years, local doctors may be using a simple blood test to detect this infection. That test is already being used in several European countries. Also today, if you've had a problem with sore throats and coughs this winter, the cause may not be the cold weather, it may be your humidifier. Now, humidifiers like these can be a breeding ground for bacteria, and researchers say that bacteria can get in the air and cause a variety of problems.
Increases in wheezing, shortness of breath, high fevers, those sorts of things are often seen in patients who have what's actually been called humidifier lung.
Now, humidifier lung often resembles a mild case of the flu, with coughing, fever, headaches, muscle pain, fatigue. Those symptoms can progress to pneumonia, lung scarring, and in very extreme cases, death. Now, here's a few tips to help prevent those problems. Clean your humidifier daily and use a solution of bleach and water. And be sure to rinse that humidifier thoroughly. And the best way to tell if your humidifier, Angela, Mark, is the cause of your symptoms, very simple. The symptoms come on so suddenly in the presence of a humidifier that you know, you walk into the room, you get those symptoms of the flu, like the coughing, the soreness in the throat, the difficulty breathing. You leave the room, those symptoms disappear. Well, in that case, very likely the humidifier is the cause. So, Angela, Mark, easy to detect and to do something about.
I never knew that. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Doc. Will this cold weather put a damper on the Winter Carnival Torchlight Parade? We'll tell you next on Live at 5. And also ahead, the search heats up for a medallion that'll bring lots of money to a lucky soul.
And the weekend weather, a test of true winter survival for man and beast.
If you're looking for the only family wagon that gives you front-wheel drive, an available overhead cam fuel-injected V6, a choice of long or short wheelbase, and an unbeatable 770 protection plan, then look no further. It's gotta be the best-selling family wagon in the world, the unequaled Dodge Caravan.
With prices starting as low as $10,887, you've got to see your local Dodge dealer.
What's better than a sofa and love seat for $599? A sofa and love seat, 2 tables, and a lamp for $599. All total, that's a 50% savings. Where else but Slumberland can you get this coordinated designer look for so little? Right now, when you buy this handsome 2-piece group with matching pillows, you'll get 2 brass and glass tables and a lamp with brass accents, absolutely free. But wait, need some room for those unexpected guests? For just $100 more, you can have the sleep sofa. Come to Slumberland. There's no better deals anywhere.
The perfect vacation doesn't have to be a fantasy. MLT Vacations. We deliver dreams.
Ember's $1.99 jumbo breakfast. 2 farm fresh eggs, 2 buttermilk pancakes, 2 country sausage links, and 2 strips of hardwood cured bacon, only $1.99. Ember's, big taste, small check.
The heat is on. Right now, searchers are slowly closing in on that elusive Winter Carnival medallion. A lot of people are digging near Lake Johanna in Arden Hills. Our Steve Hartman is at that location. Steve, what sort of rhyme or reason led to searchers to Arden Hills?
Good choice of words there. Here's the riddle that brought folks here. If you could use money to pay those bills, find a treasure that's hidden in them there hills. Arden Hills, get it? Well, to me, all these rhymes and riddles are confusing. I mean, why dig in snow when you could be home snoozing? So in search of some answers, we talked to a dude who digs every year in search of the loot. He's a U of M grad, usually in suit, coat, and tie. He owns his own business. He's just a normal guy. But Jeff McIntyre is changing. Not your normal adult. He turns back to a kid when the paper comes out.
Come on now, take your time, guys.
Pushing and shoving for the latest of clues, till finally a copy of the Pioneer Press News. There we go. It's off to a park with a beach and a hill for a long day of digging, even though chances are nil. Jeff has taken off work, costing him money, but he'll foot it, because he's having a great time, always thinking, where would I put it? Advice I will heed as I try to dig too. And you can bet if I find it, I won't share it with you.
Thanks a lot. That was my first question. Hartman, get out of here. Go bury yourself in the snow. Cold weather has cast some doubt on whether the Winter Carnival's Torchlight Parade should go on as scheduled Saturday night. This afternoon, the Carnival's president, John Zobel, told Eyewitness News the parade is on, even though forecasters are calling for temperatures around 10 below zero. Is that right, Dave? Good heavens. At least one of the scheduled marching bands has tentatively dropped out. That's the North St. Paul and the Tartan High combined. Another one from Brady High School appears to be leaning toward that same decision. Carnival officials will meet on the issue tomorrow morning.
You know, it actually may warm up by the time of the parade. Yeah,
Really?
there is some warmer air that's, believe it or not, behind this cold air that's going to be coming from central Canada. So we're going to get a warm front from way up there. That may be some good news. Actually going above zero, the way it appears right now, sometime late in the afternoon on Saturday or by Saturday night. But until that time, it is going to be dangerously cold. For that reason, they have issued some wind chill advisories across all of Minnesota and across North Dakota. And wind chills right now, the coldest spot we could find, believe it or not, Alexandria, not too far away, 41 below. That's what it feels like on exposed flesh there. 39 below at Grand Forks, 30 below at Bemidji, 37 below at Fargo. Right here in the Twin Cities, we have a 27 below wind chill, but only teens below up in the central part of the state. Later on tonight, those winds are going to gradually increase as the temperature continues to fall. And that'll cause those wind chills to get dangerously low, somewhere between 40 and 65 below right here in the metro. Outside at the airport right now, we do have a clear sky. Our temperature is still above zero, at 2 above. So we take a look at live at Arden Hills there in St. Paul, 2 above. The dew point now at 8 below, 62% for the relative humidity. Northwest wind at 14 miles per hour, creating that wind chill of 27 below. And the barometric pressure on the rise at 30.51. The satellite picture, the latest one down from space, still shows just a mess of moisture down to our south. They've had any mixture of rain, sleet, snow across the northern parts of Texas into Oklahoma. That should continue tomorrow. Rain down the warmer air down along the Gulf Coast. That then stretches eastward all the way out through the southeast and right up through the eastern part of the country. But for us, clear skies, and that means very cold. And it will be cold overnight tonight, right on through the daytime hours tomorrow, even with sunshine. Maybe a few ice crystals in the air. Temperature for a high right around 4 below, 6 below up at Williston. That cold air continues to dive southward, and as I said, some snow for northern Texas, portions of Oklahoma, right on through Arkansas and southern Missouri. That sloppy mess is going to continue to move eastward. It does look chilly for us. The forecast for the Twin Cities then for tonight, clear and very cold. We do have that wind chill advisory tonight, 15 to 22 below. Those are the actual air temperatures, but those wind chills down to about 40 to 60 below. Northwest winds anywhere from 10 to 20. Wake-up weather should be very, very cold. Temperature right around 18 below. Please bundle up the little ones because the wind chills will be down around 50 below by the morning time. Then by the afternoon, mostly sunny, but it doesn't warm up much. Staying below zero, 3 to 8 below. Northwest winds at 15 to 25. Wind chills 35 to 55 below. As I said, it does start to try to warm up. By Friday night, mostly clear skies. Continued cold there. Actual air temperatures 15 to 22 below, but on Saturday, we could climb above zero. Temperatures may be reaching 3 above by Saturday afternoon. And as we said, those wind chills are probably going to be the most dangerous things coming up tomorrow during the day, late tonight, and tomorrow throughout the day. So if you are planning on a cross-country trip, make sure you have one of those winter survival kits in your car.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good advice. Next on Live at 5, a close encounter of the magical kind as we meet an alien face to face.
But they're just excuses. I mean, excuses, they don't mean anything to your thighs, okay? Excuses is not going to lift up your butt. You know, you've got to get out there and do it. So I am sympathetic. I know about putting it off, but you have to think of it this way. I'm out there doing it every day. So if that's an inspiration, just know that if you're doing it, I'm somewhere doing it.
Join U.S. Swim and Fitness right now, only $24 a month for 18 months.
Lutsen Mountains, without question, the largest and the highest alpine and cross-country skiing in all mid-America. Largest, with 1,500 acres on 4 connecting mountains providing mile-long runs. Highest, at over 1,000 feet, you'll ski to breathtaking vistas overlooking Lake Superior. Luxury or budget accommodations, mountainside or lakeside. Hearty North Shore dining. And friendly nightlife, too. For rates and complete information, write Ski Lutsen, Lutsen, Minnesota, 55612.
In the struggle against rootworms, don't you lose sight of what you're really after. Strong, healthy corn. Corn you know will yield just by looking.
Year after year, Thymet insecticide grows fields like these for less money per acre than anyone. And isn't that what you're really after? Thymet. Available from your Cyanamid Aquacenter dealer.
Pete, ship 20 pounds of smoked Polish sausage to Stan Lenski in Warsaw. Stretch, 30 pounds of Swiss wurst to Zurich. Rush, the smoked Italia to Rome.
Got it. We get requests from all over for our plump, delicious smoked sausages. But you don't have to go through all that trouble because Johnsonville smoked sausages are in your favorite food store. Try some. You'll love them.
And send all this smoked bratwurst to Frankfurt for my grandma. They can't get the good stuff over there.
The magic of Hollywood has come to Minnesota.
It is here. Ever had a close encounter with the actual alien of the movie fame? Well, that's one of the horror-filled confrontations you're going to see at the Science Museum of Minnesota in St. Paul. It's the new special effects exhibit. And you should have seen some of the faces and the youngsters who spent their day there today.
Have you ever heard of the Alien Queen? Yeah. No.
But you can tell by the look on Debbie Henning's face that this second grader knows what's coming. Debbie could hardly see her Edgewood School classmates as they tiptoed nervously on the scariest field trip ever taken. Suddenly, a stream of smoke, funny-smelling smoke,
Stinks.
and a beam of light. It's the alien. Well, it's not quite the movie, but they are the actual characters. Debbie tells me, sure beats class, right?
You have to keep on doing work and work and work and work.
David Carson works and works on a lot of these special effect characters. He takes a director's idea and makes it lifelike, like the whale from this scene in Star Trek IV. But it's a lot smaller in person.
The model actually was operated by radio control underwater and could swim, turn, dive, surface, and all the things it needed to do without any kind of connections.
My all-time favorite, right here, King Kong. Used to scare the heck out of me as a kid. Kind of reassuring to know that it's just a bunch of phony clay, makeup, and hair, though. It's pretty impressive stuff to Debbie and her friend Amanda. Amanda seems kind of overwhelmed by what she saw.
And you can see just that one thing, not just in the inside, like the outside.
She now knows special effects inside and out. Speechless.
Yeah.
These Hollywood special effects stay on display at the Science Museum of Minnesota in St. Paul until May 1st. Perfect cold weather activity.
What other movies, special effects that they have from other movies?
A lot of them. Star Wars, Close Encounters, what else is there? Ghostbusters, there's a whole bunch out there. And they're actually the actual, what do you say, characters that were in those particular movies. Somehow they got them to move and do whatever, but they're there. They're pretty stationary, except for the King Kong that you saw.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to see what they do with those special effects. And anyway, it's better than work and work and work and work, right?
More work.
Don't go away. We'll be back with some final words after this.
I doubted my protection no matter what I tried. See, I have a bladder control problem. But now, I found the undergarment that protects best. No doubt about it.
Attends for bladder control problems. It protects better because it's designed to keep its highly absorbent layers close to your body with gathers. Undergarments without them can gap and cause accidents.
I could do this all day. No doubt about it.
Try the best protecting undergarment. Attends for protection you can live with.
Even as America's elderly population grows more and more, some people in government want to help less and less by cutting back on care for our most vulnerable citizens.
Some water. I need my...
Is cutting vital public services the way to run our country? There are answers, but it means asking more of our government, not less.
I wish someone would help me.
America, it's time for new priorities.
Winter grilling was actually pioneered by a man named Al Fresco.
Cattle Company introduces winter grill dinners.
Yep. Old Al sure started some by grilling outdoors.
Featuring specials like grilled prime rib, honey glazed chicken, and grilled tiger shrimp.
Of course, old Al started something once by grilling indoors. It's called the Great Porterville Fire.
Winter grill dinner starting at $7.95 at Cattle Company.
That's the truth. So help me.
This weekend on Great Weekend, you could win a great Olympic vacation. All you have to do is sit back and enjoy watching Great Weekend Saturday mornings at 8. When you hear the secret word, jot it down on a postcard and send it to KSTP TV. All entries must be received by February the 12th. The drawing will be Saturday, February 13th on Great Weekend. You could be a winner of an all-expense-paid trip to the Winter Games in Calgary just by watching Great Weekend. So go for the gold with Great Weekend.
Right now, we're going to turn to the newsroom, and Pat Mylan has a look at some of the stories we're working on for 6 o'clock. Pat?
Well, at 6, a warning for anyone who parks in downtown Minneapolis ramps or garages. Police say thieves are willing to do a lot of damage to steal very little from your car. We'll tell you what police say you should do to keep from becoming a victim. We'll also tell you why nearly 24 area families are banding together to sue a big company. They say what's buried nearby is ruining the value of their homes. And this is Cleveland, a little boy who is Thursday's child. Kevin Berger will profile a little boy who's got a lot to offer. Join Ruth.